Welcome back to the Triple Option here on 365 Sports. Royden Ogletree, KWTX, joins me now. And Royden,
in boxes.
Yeah, right there. Oh, look, that's the fun one. We do.
No, I did a nice little, hey.
Whoa.
Nice little fade in, 1970s.
There we go. Awesome. All right. What's not awesome is what's going on at Michigan State right now.
What a transition.
That is not awesome in any way, shape, or form. Mel Tucker's been suspended without pay or with pay. I don't know what he is now. I'm confused. But he's been suspended right now. He's on leave.
I think it with pay pending an investigation or without. Yeah. I guess it doesn't matter.
They're investigating. He's got a hearing October 5th and 6th. Brenda Tracy, if you don't know who she is a women's rights advocate and a sexual assault survivor who her main area of things is athletics and going and dealing with teams because because that was her experience as football players that were not prosecuted to the fullest extent of the law. And so she's goes around and her job is to educate players on how to be better and different and the things to avoid. And Mel Tucker has been accused by her of sexually harassing her, and he's admitted to some of the things, and from his perspective, he feels their relationship is different. I will tell you this. Even if Mel Tucker is telling the 100% truth here, which I don't know if we're going to get the 100% truth from either side on this, because it's a very strange story. But even if he's telling the 100% truth, I would fire him at Michigan State for the sheer lack in judgment of putting yourself in this position.
Yeah, you got to be on. It's not that difficult of a decision, to be honest with you. And I know we're going to have a lot of varying comments, I'm sure, on this topic because a lot of very cool heads will prevail when it comes to talking about this stuff. You cannot put yourself in such a compromising position as to be caught flirting with the woman that is there talking to your team about sexual assault.
Yeah.
What are you doing? What are you doing? The sheer incompetence of that is mind-boggling. And look, it's a difficult conversation to talk about it in general, but it does to me highlight, and this woman came and spoke at Baylor, correct? And
yes.
She has great things to say about Baylor on Twitter and that she was welcome.
No,
was that not her?
That's not her.
Oh, sorry. I believe that was.
No.
It was a different
her experience
woman,
at Baylor was very, very different.
I thought
she came and spoke to Baylor.
That was a different woman. I completely apologize.
You're talking about Rachel Baraboo.
Yes.
She's different. Brenda Tracy's experience at Baylor was she came to speak with them in 2016.
Oh, right.
After all that went down. And then Tate Wallace, who was the wide receivers coach at the time, ran her down in the hallway and berated her about being there.
Right.
And why is she here? And she recorded that conversation.
Mm-hmm.
Or somebody did, because it's out there and you can hear it. And what he said. And, part of it was that staff was very, those assistant coaches very much on the defensive the whole time. And so
wasn't a great time. Right.
She came very much right out after that and said, I was treated very poorly. This is what happened. She made Baylor look worse than they already did. To whatever varying degree they earned that, it was more or less because an assistant coach could not, whether he felt she was right or wrong,
keep his mouth shut.
Let her leave and deal with it later. Honestly, half the stuff that you heard from her about Baylor would probably have never been heard if he had just been like, all right, enjoy your flight. Thanks for coming. We learned a lot, and then moved on. But that's not what happened.
And thus is the tale as old as time with that situation at Baylor to begin with. But
yes, that's what happened. So yes, and
then I apologize. That was the wrong. That was the wrong one. There was another. There was another advocate.
Rachel Baraboo has come back several times. She worked with Baylor a lot. She, in the aftermath of that, said, "Well, that's probably not going to help those guys out any who need to learn a few things. So I'm going to go and I'm going to, her thing has changed the narrative. And then Brenda Tracy's deal is set the expectation. So
I will say this about this whole situation with Mel Tucker, and especially as it equates to women in the workplace and taking her at her word, which is, I think, something that people have been not fast enough to do in the past for women that have been sexually harassed, which I think is something that we need to take a deeper look at in this country in general. But I think it really is a interesting look at how much women put up with in the workplace in these situations. In no world should she go into this situation, into this workplace, is what it essentially amounts to her, and then have to deal with like flirtatious advances from the head coach.
Look, and here's the thing.
No woman should have like you shouldn't be in that position anyway, but especially from what amounts to the CEO of this company.
At the end of the day, when it comes to okay, so say she did start some sort of personal relationship with Mel Tucker. Okay, clearly there was something there because they've been exchanging text messages and things over the time.
Late night phone calls.
Yeah, those things happened. Well, the minute she decides it's over, it's over. It can't be there wasn't no, I mean, we had this, our relationship was this way. Well, until it's not. That's the way it is with everything. And I'll just say that to play devil's advocate for her here, look, if a male motivational speaker went to go talk to a women's basketball team, the likelihood that he would be anywhere after that, the coach would call him up and be like, "Hey, do you want to get dinner?" That probably wouldn't happen.
No.
So not that it's impossible, but it's not. It's very improbable.
Right.
So these are the things that are different. And again, Mel, think whatever you want to about Brenda Tracy. Her online Twitter persona is well documented. Think whatever you want to about Mel Tucker, but the bottom line is, at the end of it, Mel Tucker is the CEO. You said it. He is the CEO of Michigan State University football, a university that does not have a track record that they can brag about at all when it comes to answering the bell. And this situation is in no way near the last one with Larry Nassar, but they don't have a reputation. So if you work for that university and you're taking $9.5 million as a paycheck, it's incumbent upon you. You need to know that that'll go away fast if you misstep. If you misstep, because they're out of them. They're completely out of redos.
Yeah, they're out of there's no grace.
Look, Baylor cannot take a football player on their roster for maybe the next 20 years who's even gotten in trouble in high school for arguing with someone. They can't do it because of what happened here. They cannot do it. Whether that's how it is. They have to take guys who are squeaky clean when they get them here. Now, what happens after that is different, but
there's the whole thing that I'm sure we'll get comments about is second chances, innocent until proven guilty. You can't do it.
The problem is
it doesn't exist. It does not exist at Michigan State. It does not exist at Baylor. It does not exist at a lot of these schools that have had these sort of things.
Any of those things have anything to do with any of these new people? No. But it's just they can't take the risk because it's not worth the headache, right?
Right.
And it doesn't make sense, but it's just how it is. And
it's something you may not, as a viewer, you may not believe in or whatever, but I'm just saying they have gone through Michigan State. I think my friend was telling me they had gone through 4 presidents in 5 years or something like that.
Yeah.
Of course, I'll add on to that the Larry Nassar situation, which exacerbates this entire thing. And it just is unconscionable to think that this is something that you thought was a good idea.
Well, and look, if I'm Michigan State and this comes across my desk, and I'm like, okay, so the football coach has been charged with sexual harassment. Who is charging him with sexual harassment? Oh, the lady we came to teach the players about sexual harassment. I'd been like, Mel, buddy, what are you doing? And how can you put yourself in this position? That's why he's going to eventually probably get let go, because if, again, like I said, even if his story is 100% true, you put yourself in a position that exposed the university, that exposed you, that did this, that made you look bad. Can't have it.
Will the whole with cause thing come into play here? It's gonna get real nasty about like how much, who's gonna pay what for who. And
ultimately, I think this is gonna be settlement, every way, which way out the door.
Yeah.
So
there was already talk online of Michigan State fans being tired of Mel Tucker, and like, because they didn't have a good year last year either. Yeah. And granted, are they two? I mean, this is right secondary. Now, they're 2-0. Yeah. But I'm just saying there was already people like, is this exactly like,
that's the other thing about this.
Anyway?
If Michigan State uses this to get out of a bad decision they made, like, that's pathetic. Like, make sure justice is served. That's what you need to do.
Obviously, that's what I'm saying. I'm just saying, like, there was already, you cannot mess up when you're already on the hot seat.
No.
On top of everything else.
No. All right.
You should be fired regardless of what you got to go, man.
I can't every time somebody Googles Mel Tucker now, they're not getting Mel Tucker,
that
football coach.
That Google search is like,
it's going to go south in a hurry. No pun intended. But I do want to give you, we got 5 minutes left. 5 minutes left.
Transition of all transitions.
5 minutes left out of this into what's going on at Baylor. They're about 6-game losing streak. Royden, you're a Baylor alum, a graduate. It's never been the same. Like, they have not lost for the same reason in any of these 6 games.
No.
Like, if it was one thing, they needed a defensive coordinator. They just need to make sure that they get a healthy, group of wide receivers. No, it is something different. Even the games that they didn't lose in a row, but if you go back to last year and they lost, BYU, West Virginia, some of those other ones, there's different reasons for all of them. What's going on?
Everybody's quick to online, especially blame Aranda and the staff, especially. I mean, this was you were playing with a backup quarterback this last game, so that's tough to say what you were really going to get from the offense. But Grimes and company were not good when it came to this last loss. I think it comes down to, one, getting the most talent in there that you possibly could. I know that they want their guys, and we have said that you have to have players that want to be here and players that know what the deal is when you come into Baylor University. That being said, it's not always the best crop of talent that I think that like these upper echelon schools are getting, like even now Texas Tech is seeing. I think they have their own problems, whatever. But I think, one, was a talent issue. Two, what was the quote from Remember the Titans? The attitude reflects leadership. Mm-hmm. Dave Aranda, brilliant man, great guy for all that we know. It is, like I said, good night.
Has he made them too mellow?
Yeah, it's good night moon every single, I don't know what goes on in that locker room, but I was watching some highlights and recaps, and this game was better. But that first game against Texas State, they didn't seem like they wanted to hit anybody. Like, it just was in slow motion. And I don't know what that comes down to. Yeah. Is that a coaching issue? Is that the players that you've brought in here? I don't know. A lot of people want to point to the NIL collective stuff that hasn't had enough reporting on it that I don't know which end is up for Baylor.
Here's the thing. No one's ever really going to know.
Yeah, they don't have to know.
Here's the thing. They
don't have to tell us.
I can assume that things are going well at other places, and then it might all be a house of cards, right?
Yeah.
Because nobody has to. There's no real, for some reason, it has to be a secret how much money a guy is getting to go to a certain place.
Yeah, I don't.
It's like it's taboo. Like if you went and asked somebody who had your same job as you, if you're like, hey man, I've been here for 3 years. If you don't mind me asking, like, how much money do you make? I'm gonna go ask for a raise. Whoa, man, whoa. Like I'm not. You and I work together. We're cool. I'm not trying to.
Hey man,
I'm not trying to take food off your plate. I'm just like going to ask for a raise. Like how dare you?
Yeah.
And then
it's like talking to somebody about their religion or something like that.
Yeah.
You know, I don't know. I think that there's a number of things, and we're going along here, that I cannot pin it down to one thing. It ultimately comes down to what are you getting out of the players that you have recruited? Mm-hmm. Are you maximizing their potential? What it really came down to is we were talking about this whole thing. Is they're 2 years behind from where they should be.
They did not.
If we're breaking it really down, they did not recruit well enough and did not replace the players like Jalen Petrie, Terrell Bernard, so on and so forth that they needed to with guys that were ready to play.
Yeah, they did not. They did not respond to winning the Big 12 in the right way. They took a step back after they won, and they gathered no momentum off that. Well, Royden, thanks so much for being our Tuesday guy.
I couldn't come up with a better name. I'm sorry.
Ruby Tuesday. Maybe
Ruby
we'll call
Tuesday.
you. Yeah.